Hello and welcome to Urban Gothic Series 2 Episode 2, Membrane, a title that will make sense once we're done. I hope. We open on footage of people in crucifixion poses and other people bleeding from their hands. Joseph Ratzinger's porn stash, maybe. Actually, no, it's a research-type thing of evil, and things have gone wrong. So wrong that they need to send down a specialist team, a la Resident Evil. The bosses have sensibly given the team cameras attached to their heads so the footage can be sent back to base. Now, stupidly, they've decided not to send military people, but rather students. My fave being this guy, who I'm fairly sure is a theatre major. And of course, because they're students, they're not being given guns.
I want a gun.
Shut up, Loki. Civilians don't mix with guns.
Of course you can't give untrained people guns, so why not send people trained in the use of guns to do whatever this is about? Well, because of bacon. Anyway, the last bit of hilarious stupid is that the home base the footage is being sent back to is this office and this brown-suited guy. I would have expected that an evil company that had the money to set up an evil research lab would have had more than one guy in an office and some expendable students at its disposal, but what the fuck do I know? I just rule my own country with an iron fist. The first thing they come across is this evil pile of equipment.
I've seen something like this before.
I've seen this before too. A few levels and several dozen computer games. Big chunks of many, many movies. Oh, of course, it could just be someone trying to reenact virus on almost no budget. Okay, while the basic idea here is about as unoriginal as you can get while spelling the word correctly, it's still great. Cameras attached to people's heads checking out what happened in the aftermath of a scary event. This is a brilliant setup for a found footage movie. It's just a pity that they didn't bring the police, or the military, or mercenaries, or someone armed with a sharp stick. It's also a pity that everyone's obsessed with trying to be funny rather than wondering why the fuck they are the ones who've been sent to check this place out.
Next time I'll be more bite than lick.
So something supernatural's going on. I know this because it's Urban Gothic. The characters also know this, but not for anything as sensible a reason. They know because this woman finds a weird liquid in a cup and assumes it's ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm.
No test or anything, I'm not even sure she bothered to smell it. Anyway, like all elite commando squads made up of students without guns sent into the aftermath of a supernatural/scientific shitstorm, they brought with them a strongly autistic guy who begins to freak out.
Freaks? I've got another problem down here. Loki's flipped out. He's freebasing at about 1000 BPM right now.
Luckily, one of the group's many idiots has a theory about why.
That sounds like glossolalia, talking in tongues. He's seeing God.
You are not helping anyone by continuing to waste oxygen through breathing. Anyway, they come across a dead guy wearing more conventional-looking military gear. I assume that after they had their disaster, they sent the mercenaries down. When they failed, they thought it was only fair to try people with no military experience. Best plan I've seen in minutes. Cut back to the autistic guy and they worked out what he's saying. The entire human genome sequence, letter by letter. Good thing they worked it out because he's about to finish, even though I'm pretty sure that would take weeks. And as usually happens when someone finishes saying the entire human genome sequence, the military guy comes back to life. 2 episodes into the new series, we already have Walking Dead. You know, the fact that they managed to outstupid everything else so far is the only reason I was actually surprised by that. So everyone freaks out, and I'm not 100% sure what the fuck's going on. Dumbass college students enlisted to be mercenaries, they all look alike to me. And the shit cameras are really not helping matters. Oh, and the guy in the brown jacket gets a message from the outside world.
This place is dead. This place is dead. This place is dead.
Mr. Bendix, tell your people this place is far from dead.
Who are you?
I'm Vic Sage, also known as The Question. The Question's working for the Institute, the group who are everyone's boss. I'm told we're supposed to find this terrifying, so scary! So, because even though these students found the dead military guy, saw him come back to life and all the other shit, and they still haven't calmly as fuck run for the door, they just decide to continue on with their mission. Which is so mysterious that I'm just dimly aware of whatever the fuck it is. Something to do with finding a doctor, alas the one-hearted variety. So one of the regular guys on the team knows the entire human genome by heart because his PlayStation once broke and he got bored. It turns out that's what's been written across the walls, and he realizes that something's wrong with it. Amazingly, the copy scrawled across the walls of a destroyed laboratory by a mad person freaking out over ghosts or something has got one part of a massive fucking huge code slightly wrong. Great. Of course, I wonder why it's been written in Klingon rather than English, but that's just me. The code has had something added to it. What's the extra thing? Oh, it's just the urban Gothic symbol. And now I have the idea that immortality might actually be gained via splicing humans with copy of this show on DVD, because something with that many undead humans in it cannot possibly die. They describe the genome as a book full of all the information about human history, going back to before we were fish. Okay, stupid way to put it, but okay. Anyway, they surmise that the Doctor was evil and was concentrating on one of the words in the book, to make people into that word, and the word is God. I think they should take this metaphor-based insanity to the next level. Take the word God and extract the ink used to write it in the book that is the genome, and from that you can turn humans into the thing used to write that book. Genius! I can now create giant sentient pens and sell them as sex slaves. Yes, I know it's a niche market. I may be misinterpreting the writer's intent, but it sounds an awful lot like they think human beings are gods who devolved into their present form, and they're trying to recreate gods. This wouldn't work even if it was true. So the leading woman's grabbed by something for some reason and taken into the vents, because there's always vents big enough to fit a person. Now, what's the point of giving your cast these nifty head cameras to see everything if no one ever does anything with it? So there's suddenly a fuckload of zombies who are very slowly approaching, and I hope you fuckers are regretting not bringing the military this time. Yeah, they died last time, but at least they do better than two semi-functioning nerds who found a pistol somewhere. Zombies are no zombies, they find their way into the centre of the building, where people have been genetically altered to resemble Padre Pio.
Stigmata.
Which was especially apt because his stigmata was man-made too. Back at the base, the guy in the brown jacket's getting bothered by Mr. A again.
Congratulations, Agent. The insertion is complete.
So the autistic guy starts talking with a ring-modulated voice, which as we all know means he's become the voice of God, and the Institute sent everyone down there to get the autistic guy in, so he can become God because science. Rorschach then teleports in and kills the last remaining non-Avatar member of the team and reveals via a communications link that he's actually the guy in the brown jacket, even though he's also back home at base watching everything as it happens.
Welcome to the Institute. Operative Index.
Well, that was Membrane. Did the title make sense? No. Someone saw the finale to The Prisoner once too many times and then fell on their head. Okay, let me get this straight. There's a genetic experiment where people are trying to recreate God out of our DNA. There's a problem, and everyone gets turned into zombies, and someone writes down the genome on the walls and shit, and then they send a military team in to do something, and they die. They then send people from a local college to make sure that this autistic guy can be possessed by the god that they created and therefore become a new god. And this was all done so the guy behind them can join a shadowy organisation that he's already in. Even though he doesn't want to join, and he's in two places at once and can teleport. This might have been stupider and more confusing than the one with the disappearing organs in Series 1. I'm guessing that they actually had a meeting designed to accomplish just that, because there's almost no other way I can think of that they could have managed it. I know we worked so hard on making some of the plots the most confusing 20-minute horror story of all time, but really, parts of it were lucid. What parts? The lesbian detectives? Of course not. Lesbian detectives. That was classic stupid. I'm talking about Takashi. Anyway, I know we can do better. I mean worse. Well, I have some concepts for possible episodes. Excellent. I want you to write them all up into scripts, print them out, throw them in the air, choose 20 pages in any order, and then put them together and base an entirely new script on them. Wow, you're a genius. One of the main problems with Series 2, apart from the fact that there's even less good episodes in Series 1, is that they go overboard with a confusing as fuck, stupid, laughable, and crazy overarching plot. This was a plot episode designed to show the audience something for later on, which won't even make sense then. I wish this show had just stuck to anthology. It was much better for it.